Hey guys, so this is going to be an interesting thing I'm going to do today. First off, I'm not going to be reviewing Terminator Genisys. A friend of mine is, because I didn't see this movie. He did. He's more qualified to talk about this than me. And, I'm just going to give this over to him, even though it's my channel. So, why not? Maybe I'll see it one day. I don't know. I don't really care. But anyway, with that being said, James, this is your time to shine. Tell the fans what you think of Terminator Genisys.
My name is James. I'm going to be reviewing Terminator Genisys. Eventually, to answer your question, you should not see this movie. It is... I'm a big fan of the first two Terminators. They're some of my favorite movies of all time. The third, I hated. It went really far downhill from the greatness of the second one. The fourth was also not very good. So there was some hope for the fifth, but it sucks. The problem with this movie is it's trying to be a lot of different things, and it's very convoluted. The problem is that it's not confusing. The plot isn't confusing, say like a movie like Interstellar or Inception, where there are all these plot points and they're actually hard to understand. The movie just rushes through these big convoluted ideas about time travel that really don't make any sense, and they make no effort to explain to the audience. And that really bogs the whole movie down and makes it just kind of infuriating. It just makes you sit there and you want to enjoy the action, which I'll get to in a second, but you can't comprehend the overall silliness and stupidity of the story, which makes no sense. Part of the action, the problem is what made the first two so good is how well the action is filmed. Alright, the action in this one sucks. It doesn't have shaky cam, but whenever like a character moves, the camera just completely moves with them. These like very well choreographed movements. It just looks stupid. This movie is stupid. If I'm going to say anything, it's just a stupid movie. The action, it really doesn't do anything to further the plot. It's just like, we have a big action set piece. Let's throw in some exposition. And that's where the exposition is just the convoluted part in between one big action scene and another. And that's the formula for this whole movie. And it's trying to be all these things that it's not. The first 5 minutes are good. They're actually great. They're what I wanted in a new Terminator movie. You see this dark future. And then afterwards, it just goes downhill. And the reason why? Not just because of the convoluted plot and the crappy action, but the dialogue. The script to this movie is horrible. There are some lines that are laughably bad. Like, I won't go into it. But they make no logical sense. There are these gaps in logic that... Alright, there's a technical issue with the camera. As I was saying, you basically have one big action scene, and then the action scenes, which aren't very good, they're just on a grand scale. They're on the Golden Gate Bridge, or on a highway, or in a big warehouse, and with some iconic moment from the first one. Then what ties you over is just this crappy dialogue and convoluted story. And it doesn't, the worst part of the story is it actually reverses and takes away some of the great stuff from the first Terminator and the second Terminator, instead of taking away the bad stuff from the third and fourth. And just shows utter disrespect to two of the best movies of all time. Now, the acting. Amelia Clarke plays Sarah Connor, and she's good. She's not great, but the problem isn't her acting. The problem is her lines. Her lines are laughably bad, and they don't establish a good character. There's no emotional depth to her. She's just saying these like lines like, I have to do this, I have to do that. More exposition, and then does something, shoots a gun, does whatever. The best part of this movie, though, is Arnold Schwarzenegger. He's a badass. His lines, while they might be crappy, his delivery, the way he delivers them is with such humor that he actually makes them decent and funny. And it's great to see an older Terminator kind of getting down and dirty. Now, while Arnold's the best part and was really the best acting in the movie, you have Jai Courtney, I think his name is, who played Kyle Reese, who's not bad. It's not like Mark Wahlberg in The Happening or Tommy Wiseau in The Room. He's just bland. It's not Kyle Reese. There's no emotion to him. He should be playing the Terminator. He has no emotion. He's just, I have a mission. I have a mission. And that just doesn't add anything to the already really severe lack of emotion in the movie. By just having your main character, basically, he is the main character in this movie, be just this emotionless, bland guy who just gets beat up. He gets beat up a lot. He's not like Kyle Reese in the first one. He mostly gets his ass kicked. the other problem the movie has is the villain. It has 3 villains, and you don't care about any of them. I'm not going to spoil anything. The first 2 villains, they're iconic characters from the first 2 Terminators, and they're in it for a bit, and there's nothing iconic about them. They're iconic because they were in the first 2 Terminators. There's something cool about them. They're just ripping off from good movies. They actually refilm exact scenes from the first Terminator. And that's why those villains are somewhat cool. Besides that, no, there's nothing new about them. They're played by different actors. They barely have any dialogue, and they're just an obstacle. They're not even really a villain. They're just an obstacle that the characters have to get past. The third villain is pretty actively terrible. Now, if you didn't see the trailer, don't watch it. Don't watch the second trailer. Don't watch any of the TV spots. Because if you actually want to see this movie, which you shouldn't, but if you like bad movies that are stupid, convoluted, and rip off of the success of 2 great movies, and hey, go ahead and watch it. But the third villain is just stupid. And they tried to put some emotional depth into him, and okay, credit for that. You tried to put some emotion in the movie. But you don't get credit because you failed, and he sucked, and he's one of the worst villains I've ever seen. He's just this all-powerful Terminator who could do anything. And he just doesn't add up. It's stupid. It's a ripoff. It takes away some of the emotion from the first and second movie. When you see it, you'll know what I mean. I'm not going to say anything other, but he sucks. The last problem that the movie has, the last big problem, is it doesn't know what it wants to be. It starts as a sci-fi movie, a crappy sci-fi movie. Then it goes to being a crappy action movie, and the tone is all over the place. It tries to be funny, then it tries to be dead serious. Like, we're trying to save the fate of humanity. And then it goes back to being not funny, but just silly and stupid. And it's not even self-aware of its silliness. It's just like, oh, we're being silly, oh, we're being cheesy, we're throwing back to the first 2 movies. You should like it. Like, you should like that we're ripping off of the success of actually good movies. You should like that we're putting no effort into it. No. The only good part about this movie is Arnold. And the fact that there are, like, maybe 1 or 2 cool fight scenes. And Emilia Clarke, she's okay. J.K. Simmons, Oscar winner J.K. Simmons, he's so underused. You get an Oscar-winning actor. He has a cool part in the movie. That's another, like, he's one of the only good things besides Arnold about the movie. He has a cool part. When you see it, you know what he means. He plays a cop who was in 1984, waiting for Kyle Reese, and then he plays a role later in the movie, and hey, that's actually kind of neat. But they don't do anything about it. He's just there to help them. He's just another, like, set piece. He's not a real character. It's a problem with this movie. Like I said, they're just set piece, set piece, set piece. And that's why I hate this movie. It sucks. I'm going to give it a 20%. I'm going to give it a 20 because, like I said, it starts off promising. The first 5 minutes was like, this is what I want to see in a Terminator movie. Arnold was great. Seeing him on screen again was amazing. He slides into that character, and the reason why it's good, excuse me, my throat, is because that's his character. That's his iconic character, who he's played for so long. And you see him really naturally just kind of slide into that role. And that allows you in certain scenes to say, I can believe that. I can believe that Arnold, while he's old, is still kicking ass. But besides that, all the other characters are not believable protagonists. They're just, and that's, like I said, that's kind of, because that's in large part because we're working with such a bad script and such bad direction, but he's the one good part of the movie. Him and J.K. Simmons, who again is just serviceable. That's why I'm going to give it a 20. Honestly, I thought I would hate this movie even more. It's bad. It's stupid. It's silly. It's just, don't watch it. Don't. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of money. Maybe if you can get paid to watch this movie, check it out. But besides that, 20, it sucks. Thank you guys for watching.
And don't forget to become a home slice and subscribe. Adios.
Become a home slice.